Good morning, good morning. It is the 20th of May, Wednesday, and I am out walking my dog in my high vis and talking about education. And today, just for those of you who have not watched these videos, my name's Simon Lewis from onshot.net, and if you are interested in watching my videos, you can go to onshot.net/walk, and you'll find these videos where I share my thoughts almost daily on the primary education system. I've been talking a lot about reading and the unconvention the last little while, but today I wanted to change tack a little bit and go back to a subject that's obviously very close to my heart, which is the subject of religion in schools. Because today there is a fantastic article by Aoife Cassidy in the Irish Examiner, and it's for those, I'm sure, for those of you who know me well, this month, the month of May, is a tightrope for me, because tensions are high, because people are doing what Aoife describes so well. I think everybody knows, and everybody admits it really, I suppose, and in fact you just watch anything really, that when it comes to the communion, or communion season as it's known, there's a lot of people out there that don't really take the religious aspect of it seriously, and as Aoife said in her article, they sort of, and I'll paraphrase here, they mask the religion with an extravagance of materialism, and I thought it was really, really well put. I think why it's a tightrope for me personally is because I think, the people realise, the hypocrisy of not really believing the religious side of it, but feeling they have to go along with things, and also they have to know the harm that's caused to their children's classmates who aren't making the communion, how they're sidelined for months before the communion. They pretend, they say things, they're included, and they give examples which just aren't really included. They know their classmates are guests in their own classroom for the couple of months, and it's very hard to be able to know that and still go along with it, and so on. And again, I say this is a tightrope because some people would say that sounds anti-Catholic, what I've just said there, even though it isn't. That's just factual information. And I mean, I just loved, I didn't love it. It was awful to see some of the examples that you hear about on the Education Equality website, and also in that article. One example of this inclusion, as they call it, and inclusiveness is, all the class went, one of the classes, they went off to the church in all their finery and all the rest of it, and the opted out kid was allowed to stay back in the school because he was opted out. So far so good, but instead he got to sweep the class, or the junior infant classroom, and as Aoife quipped, Cinderella but make it Irish. And these kind of things, you might read that and go, but sure, he's opted out, he chose the Catholic school. Nobody really chooses a Catholic school, really, because Catholic schools, if we're perfectly honest, Catholic schools aren't really that Catholic, and we know that too, because we know that in the majority of cases in Ireland, we don't see the communion as a significantly religious sacrament, even though it is. And we have this bizarre situation of parents who don't believe in God sending their children who don't really know or understand what they're doing into teachers that don't believe in a God to teach them to teach those children how to believe. And it really it's kind of odd to me how we can keep the system going, because if this wasn't happening in schools, go for it, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I know and I know how invisible this can be. I know how subtle this is, and I know how defensive people can get because people are so busy and excited and possibly stressed by the whole of the community, and they don't like a torch being shined at them or a mirror being shone at them or any of this sort of stuff. And I can totally understand this, because I too went to school where my religious upbringing was the majority, was the power, was the one that was promoted as the truth. And it wasn't Catholicism. I went to a Jewish school and I was brought up Jewish, and I went through my entire education system not knowing anything about the non-Jewish kids and how they felt while they were in the school. And it was very odd that it was only as an adult I was at a reunion of my class 20 years on, and I was the only Jewish with a heavy emphasis on the ish person that went to my class reunion. And it kind of came up, the subject of it being a Jewish school, and one of my former classmates put it perfectly. She said, we always were treated reasonably well, but we always knew we couldn't get away with the same things the Jewish kids could get away with. And it really summed things up, because that's kind of how I feel as a non-Catholic in an overwhelmingly Catholic system. That every time if you say anything, if you mention something, even what I've just said in the last few minutes, you're deemed to be disrespectful, even if what you've said is perfectly true. And I had experience of that this week. If you on LinkedIn, where a former colleague of mine accused me of being anti-Christian because I shared a video of Ireland AM, where where they were discussing the cost of communions and confirmations. It was a 3.5-minute video, and I decided I would count the number of times money was mentioned versus religion. And in the 3.5 minutes, 36 times money was mentioned and religion was mentioned 0 times. Really, really, really odd. So I just pointed it out. And again, I don't care if that had nothing to do with schools. But again, my point always and always will be is that I don't care if it didn't affect people in schools. And it affects teachers. It affects the children who are opted out. And it's not necessary. All of this can be done outside of school time. Even in my school, the Jewish aspect of it, I didn't get my bar mitzvah taught during the school day. I went to a guy called Shmuel after school every week to learn my bar mitzvah piece. And there is no reason why that can't be done in Catholicism. It happens in hundreds of schools around the country anyway, that are not Catholic, that anyone who's Catholic can go to their local parish centre and learn how to do their sacraments. Anyway, I was called anti-Catholic for pointing that out. So look, I think you should read that article by Aoife. It's probably nothing new to many people who've watched my follow along, and anyone who's in education knowledge, but it's brilliantly written, with some really good lines in there to sort of explain things. I don't know what we're going to do to get people through, get it through to people. We just need, the schools are no longer extensions of church communities. It was in the past. Catholic children went to Catholic schools, Protestant children went to Protestant schools. Therefore, everybody in the class was either Catholic or Protestant. Ireland is not like that anymore. As education equality says, society has changed. Our schools must do too. And I would absolutely echo those sentiments. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it explains, again, a little bit about this and about the sensitivities. For those of you who are making the communion for all the right reasons, or if you're not, I do still wish you a lovely day on a Sunday or a Saturday, whenever you do it. Anyway, I'll chat to you again.